Hello, friends. Good evening.
Good
Hi,
evening,
sir.
Good evening,
sir.
Good
sir.
evening,
Good
sir.
evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Am I
Yes,
audible
sir.
properly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. How did the exams go today? Those who have written.
Reasonably good, sir.
Reasonably good. Excellent. That's how it should be. Very good. Um, have the same, what do you say, the momentum going, right? You're done with two papers, correct? Forget about what I have done there. Doesn't matter. If it has gone well as per your expectations, excellent. Keep that momentum going in the remaining subjects as well, so that you can end up with high marks. If it has not gone as per expectations, again, nothing to bother. You have one wonderful opportunity left in the name of taxation to compensate for it in this group, right? So that's how you need to approach this particular paper, taxation. Okay, no doubt it is standard. No doubt certain questions will be difficult to answer, but it is scoring as well. Okay, it is scoring as well, provided there are certain things that you have to keep in mind that you should not miss in the examination. Okay, especially during the preparations as well. So that is what we will be going to do. We'll not waste much time. We'll straight away deep dive into the discussion. What is the objective of this session? What are we supposed to do in the next 1.5 days, which is extremely crucial, right? You might get around 18 to 20 hours, not more than that, for your preparations in the next 1.5 days, right? How effectively you utilize it. Okay, that is what we will be discussing in this session. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, success is the product of daily habits, not once in a lifetime transformation. So, whatever you have been doing, right, in the last, at least for the last 6 months, definitely gonna help you in the examination. It's not an event that is happening, examination, it's the process. And you have taken care of the process, so need not worry about the result. Focus on the goal, not the obstacle. Don't worry about what if that particular question comes in the exam, etc. Ultimately, what are we writing this exam for? To pass it, right? So that should be our ultimate goal. Don't worry about the challenges. Yeah, that's just the index on what all we have, right? Multiple things in the discussion. As I was discussing, this is the last examination of group 1. As yes, for us as cap students, we don't bother about groups, but at least in the marks card there will be group wise marks given. So last examination of group 1, give your absolute best. And as we all know, this the question papers now have two parts, MCQs and descriptive. In this particular paper, it has main two parts. One is income tax and GST. Under GST, we have two parts, MCQs and descriptive. MCQs for 15 marks, descriptive for 30 marks, 35 marks. However, our preparations will not differ. Both for MCQs and descriptive, preparation is the same. In the examination hall, while answering, the approach changes. In descriptive, compulsorily, we have to write reasons why we are doing so, right? Our justification. Whereas MCQs, we have to just choose the answer. Yes, so MCQs, no separate preparations. However, while answering the question, read the question carefully. Extremely important, right? In the you might when you read that particular question, you know that particular topic. In that excitement, you might go wrong in the options while choosing the options. So be very careful. Read the question carefully. It's absolutely fine even if you're reading it twice. Silliest of the silliest question. Two times you're reading it, no problem, because the most of the MCQs, 7 questions here will be for 2 marks, right? So you're talking about 2 mark question. You can afford reading it 2 times, no problem. Read it to 2 times, understand what it is talking about, and choose the correct answer. After choosing the answer, after you know the answer, fill in the OMR correctly. Extremely important, right? Shade the correct option, correct question number against the correct question number. That is also extremely important. You know, I know you have written 2 exams already. You would have known this. You would have taken care of the all this. But again, why we are reiterating? Because extremely important, should not go wrong. That's why. Okay, and unlike foundation, we don't have any negative marking here. So do not skip any MCQs, even if you don't know anything about it. We know what we should do. Inky Pinky Ponky, at least do that and choose the answer. Okay, don't skip any MCQ. Don't skip any MCQ. If you get it, you will get 2 marks. Why should we lose it? Coming to descriptive. Again, here also we should read the question carefully. Why? To understand the requirement. To understand the requirement. Here, for certain questions, especially question number 1, etc., don't read from the beginning till the end. First, read what is the requirement. Normally, it would be computation of the taxable value or computation of GST payable. There, if it is computation of taxable value, stop at that point. Don't waste your time in calculating the GST. Right? That's the reason requirement is extremely important. And while you're answering, there's no compulsion that you have to write in the order in which the question paper is. No, right? You can choose your order, provided if you choose question number 4, you have to write both both the sub questions of question number 4 at one place. Right? That is the only requirement that you have to take care. So write the best question first. Anyhow, suggested order of writing also we will discuss a little later. But write the best question you know the first, because that's the first question that will be evaluated by the evaluator. So first impression, best impression. If you feel you don't know the answer, you're not getting anything about that particular question, you don't panic, don't bother much. Look for the hint in the question. There would be certain things which will give some adjustment. Could be right. Smallest of smallest point in the question can give you hint. Look for it, pick the hint, and proceed further. And format of answering, extremely important. Okay, extremely important. Format of answering depends on what kind of question we have in GST. Okay, if it is compulsory question or calculation based or value of supply or ITC related, in calculation of eligible ITC, etc., such kind of a question wherein calculations are involved, then you can write, you normally we will write it in the form of a table. For every item we have to give explanation. Right, that explanation you can write just beside that adjustment itself, inside the table itself, or you can write separate notes at the end. Either way is fine, but preferably go with the first approach, because then and there you will get the explanations. If you write it at the end, evaluator has to go back, read it, and come back, for which you have to also give references. Note number 1, note number 2, etc. Reference should be given in the main answer. Again, double work, right? Instead of that, along with the answer itself, you can write the reasoning as well. That is extremely important. Reasoning carries marks. Very, very important. Explanations. Okay, that is for the problems related questions. Whereas theory questions, right, they can ask you in theory as well 2 types of questions. One, list so and so, right? Such kind of questions, if they ask list, detail about or list down the conditions for eligibility of ITC under 16.2, you have to just write down one below the other. That's all. Nothing much to break your head. Point up to the just write to the point, you'll get full marks. Whereas if they're asking you opinions, if you're asking you whether it can be done or not, whether it is eligible for registration, liable for registration or not, eligible for ITC or not, etc., there, first write the provisions of the law, then facts, you analyze the facts, and then the conclusion. You need not write the headings, facts of the case, etc. Separate pointers. Okay, and write those answers in pointers. Don't write it in paragraphs. Okay, every point, don't make it more than 2 lines. Okay, preferably in 2 lines. And even if it is going more than 2 lines, if there is some key points there, just underline those key points. Don't do again, you can do it in their same pen itself. Don't, for that pencil is required, not required. Same pen, along with when you're writing, just below that underline it, so that evaluator can see it. They don't miss it. Correct? Right? That's what we are supposed to do while answering. Okay, these are some of the points that you have to keep in mind depending on what type of question we get. Yes, again, these are some of the points which you already know. Don't quote wrong sections. Charts, tables, etc. can be used. Definitely, please use it. Okay, the charts, different charts that we have discussed, and utilize the reading time. Extremely important. What are we supposed to do in that? Read through the question paper. Decide the order. If you want to change the order apart from the suggested, decide upon the order in which you want to write the answer, and start listing out the points that you want to write in any of those questions. Okay, at that point in time, if you feel that I might forget, just flip through the answer sheet at the last, just write it in small points so that you don't miss them when you're answering it during the examination. Okay, you can use the last page for rough use. Preferably, you can use it so that whenever you get points, just write down those points in the last page so that it will be easy for you to get the flow. Frame the answers in your mind before writing. Spend 2 3 seconds, just visualize how your answer should be. What are the points that you want to include in that, in what order, and then straight away start writing. Okay, so that you will get the flow, and the chances of you scribbling the answers will be lesser, scribbling the words. Similarly, we need not bring in the bare act as it is. Simple language, in whatever language that we know, that we use, in that language itself we can write the answers, but there are some keywords that we cannot miss, right? We cannot say sale of goods, it has to be supply of goods, right? That's how the answers should be. Similarly, legible handwriting need not be calligraphy kind of. The person who is evaluating should be able to read it, that is sufficient, right? For that, this is extremely important. Normal speed, right? Don't write too fast so that your handwriting goes for a toss. Don't write too slow also. Your normal speed gives you your best handwriting. Okay, so those are interlinked. Normal speed is also required for us to complete the examination paper also. If you are if you are writing in your normal speed, your brain is not much thinking about writing faster, it is more thinking about framing the answers, so that also helps you to write quality answers. Okay, that's the reason normal speed from the beginning. And write question numbers correctly, very very important. Attempt extra question also, just in case if there is any grace mark allotted to it, will be given only if you attempt it, correct? So just attempt, even if you don't know anything, just write the question, one line answer, so and so is so and so, that's all, sufficient. Okay, that is considered to be attempted. If paper is standard, don't worry, don't panic in the examination hall. Evaluation will be easy because if it is standard, it is standard for everyone. Right? It is standard for everyone. You have, what's our job in the examination hall for those 3 hours? Write what we know. That's all. Correct? So do that job sincerely. Don't worry about the results. And don't stop writing until 5 p.m. We all know, being CAT students, what happens if we come back before that. But do not stop writing until 5 p.m. Whatever you know, you write. Who knows, if that might be a right answer, you get marks. Correct? You can never tell. First hour is extremely crucial. Okay, extremely crucial. You have to maximize it. Why? If you are able to score 25 plus in the first hour, balance required to pass 15 marks, you have 2 hours left. There is no pressure at all. Okay, there is no pressure at all. That helps you to perform better in the last 2 hours to score well. Okay, even if you were otherwise scoring 60, there is no pressure that might take you to 70. That will happen. But if you are not able to score so and so marks in the first 1 hour, it will add pressure. It will add pressure in the second hour and the third hour. That naturally slows down your performance. So first hour, completely make use of it and take all the stationaries. Don't miss anything. You know what need to be taken, including calculator. Any exam for that matter, don't miss calculators. You have to take calculators. Okay, apart from that, we have subject specific. These are some of the topics that we cannot miss at all, important topics, right? First question, as we all know, will be compulsory question. Then 10 plus 5, 10 marks will be computation of GST. That is the full-fledged problem. 5 mark normally will be that value of supply question, right? Then computation of GST payable in cash. That is what they will focus on. Outward supply, reverse charge, exemption, ITC, and value of supply. What are we supposed to do here? First thing is, we should know the concepts. That anyhow you will revise today or tomorrow, correct? That you will do. But along with that, go through previous year papers. This particular material as well has one suggested answer, one MTP, right? So go through that compulsory question, go through the answer of it, so that you will get to know the flow, right? The flow in which we have to answer, right? So that it will be easy, you will be prepared while answering the examination. Previous year suggested answers, RTPs, MTPs, to get hold of the question. We have solved multiple questions in the revision classes, regular classes, right? Just go through them once, that's all. Other important topics: schedule 1, deemed supply without consideration. Order of discharge of ITC, very, very important part of compulsory question always. Right, order of discharge, IGST against IGST, then CGST, SGST, any order, any proportion, then CGST against CGST, then IGST, SGST against SGST, then IGST, right? That order is extremely important. Then QRMP scheme, eligibility becomes important. Who can opt for it, and the mode of payment of taxes, right? All those things, the two types of taxes that can be paid. Then e-way bill, when it is liable, those related points become important. Composition levy, extremely important. Section 10, eligibility, ineligibility, calculations, all those things can be asked. Rates rather. Schedule 3, just glance through Schedule 3. In that, land and building and specified actionable claims becomes important for us. Registration chapter, liable for registration, effective date of registration, becomes important. Normally, these two, including aggregate turnover, right? These are the things normally that will be asked in the exams. Place of supply, compulsorily one question. I'll just show you last 5 exams analysis as well. Compulsorily one question from examination perspective from this chapter. So that's extremely important. Goods anyhow is simple. Services normally they focus on, which is where we have to give some time. And tax invoices, especially those e-invoice related, revised tax invoice, right? Those topics normally they touch upon. Having said that, these topics we should not miss. Other topics are also important. Nothing can be skipped. Okay, we'll go subject specific as well as other chapter specific also. I'll just come to it. Before I do that, I'll just look into the question paper analysis. Okay, last 5 exams. Here, compulsory question, if you look at GST payable, net minimum GST payable, net minimum GST payable, output liability ITC available, and net minimum GST payable. We'll see all our same calculations, same discussions. Correct? It's the approach will remain the same, but there is one difference from September 24 exam with regard to all. Here they didn't ask us net minimum GST. They just asked us output liability ITC available. So the last part of setting off the ITC against output liability, don't waste time. Right? That's why the last sentence of the question becomes important, because that gives us the requirement. Right? That is where we have to be careful. Apart from that, everything will remain the same. In this first question, compulsory question, our format, we all know, we all remember the order: output liability, RCM, input tax credit, then we'll write that summary. Here, this did not require that summary. Okay. Similarly, 5B, if you look at most of the cases, it is value of supply. Whenever they talk about computation of GST liability, that also will be value of supply related GST liability calculation. You have to calculate value of supply plus find out the GST liability. Computation of value of taxable supply. Here, stop at taxable supply itself. Don't further calculate GST liability. Computation of gross GST payable, cinema theater, that one specific question for that exam, because there was one circular with regarding that. So that was asked. Computation of GST payable, again value of supply plus GST, computation of taxable value. So here they are playing around. One exam GST payable, one exam taxable value. So take care of that requirement in the exams. Then coming to question number 6, 6A and B. 6A, if you look at, it is talking about ITC, ITC, ITC 3 times. Calculation of eligible ITC. Then once they spoke about applicability of RCM, once they asked about composition scheme eligibility. So last 2 exams at least they are talking about ITC availability. However, composition scheme or RCM related question also can be asked. Okay, that's how 6A can be. But 6B, 4 out of 5 cases was place of supply. Okay, 6B. So 6B normally will be place of supply. One examination, they had an exception. They focused on exemption. Exemption chapter. Okay, that is about 6A and 6B. Then coming to 7A. 7A is normally we'll have multiple things from 7 and 8. They don't have a standard discussion, right? They are giving multiple from multiple chapters, but more or less similar questions. If you look at this, they're talking about GST liability aggregate turnover calculation. Okay, calculation of GST liability aggregate turnover. Then they are talking about interest payable, section 50. If you remember, what is it talking about? It talks about gross if it is output liability, We normally go with net if returns are filed delayed, gross if returns are filed in time. Then effective date of registration. Okay, so sorry, interest payable. If it is ITC related, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
If it is ITC related interest payable, interest will be calculated only if it is wrongly utilized, not just availed. Right? From the date of utilization, interest calculation. Those 2 points we have to be careful. Then effective date of registration depends on whether it is liable to register, not liable to register. Right? That points. Revised tax invoice concept, timelines for revised tax invoice. Right? This was multiple sub questions. Then TDS provision applicability. When it becomes applicable, that related discussion. Interest payable, they had asked 2 times. Okay, so this is how 7A can be. Same way, 7B, requirement of generation of e-way bill with reference to rule 138.1. When is e-way bill required to be generated for bill to ship to, and how it is to be generated for bill to ship to, who will generate, that related point. And inspection and verification of goods in transit. E-way bill, officers can stop your vehicle and verify that vehicle. That related question was asked. So 2 questions, last 2 exams, it was related to e-way bills. Then rectification of errors in respect of returns filed. Can it be rectified? Can we revise it? No, we can rectify only it in the subsequent returns. Right, that related point. Details to be maintained for works contract in accounts and records chapter. Works contract, agent. Right, there were special details that the special records they have to maintain. That was asked for 5 marks. You have to just write those 5-6 points. You get full 5 marks. Right, that's how easy it is. But we should have gone through it. Right, that's important. If we ignore those topics, we cannot answer these things. So that's why those topics become important. Then who is liable to calculate collect the tax, TCS? Right, that also becomes important. Similarly, 8A. 8A talks about rule 86B exceptions. Exceptions to 86B, not applicable cases. Then 71B, import of service. Then time of supply. In time of supply chapter, there was one hybrid annuity model. This was the exam where that circular was first introduced. So that hybrid annuity model circular was discussed here. That NHAI construction related, road construction, or exemption of available services by old age home. When will the exemption be available? That old age home, 12 AA, central government, state government, etc. Right? Similarly, schedule 1, import of service. So 2 times import of service was touched upon in this particular questions. Then conditions for availing deduction of post discount, post supply discount conditions. 3 conditions that was asked. Right, same way, if I go to 8B, this is talking about where we cannot file GSTR1, where you can normally it is you cannot file GSTR1 end of the tax period. There were exceptions. There were 2 exceptions. That is what they're asking here. Validity of certificate, city penalty, time limit. That is what they asked. And deficiency of VAT regime, 3 marks. That means 3 to 4 points sufficient. No, don't write. We need not write everything. Then rule 138E, prohibition of certain persons to furnish the information in EWB01, that is e-way bill. There are people who will be debarred, blocked from generating e-way bill. What are the scenarios? That was the thing. So if you look at in some exams, e-way bill they've asked 2 times also, 2 questions as well. Right? So e-way bill chapter don't miss. Exemption from e-invoicing, when it will be exempted, and list of proceedings that are not invalid when initiated by council. Place of supply chapter, again that particular exam, 2 questions. Similarly, unregistered person with aggregate turnover up to the threshold limit supplying through e-commerce operators are exempted from obtaining registration if they satisfy some conditions. State any 5 conditions, right? Any 5. They're not asking all. Any 5 conditions, you'll get 5 marks. Issue of invoice and delivery challans in case of semi knockdown, completely knockdown. We had discussed that in tax invoice discussion. Then list of additional documents to be maintained by agent. We have to write those 5-6 points. We'll get it. Is that clear? Yes, this is how the examination will be. So normally if you look at in the last 2 exams, they have had 20 marks of theory, 25 marks of problems. But earlier 25 theory, 20 problems. Before that 30 marks of theory, 15 problems. But average 3 exams, 20 theory and 25 problems. So almost equal weightage will be given for theory questions and problems related. Okay, that is the thing that we should know. Is that clear? This is for 45. Why? Because there were one additional question for 10 marks, right? 45 marks, that even though we have it for 35 descriptive. Okay. Okay. We'll come back to this chapter specific. As we all know, to start with GST introduction, 10 minutes spent. Don't ignore that topic. There are few things, right? Goods, supply of goods or service has an exception. There are five which are not supplies, right? Alcoholic liquor, petroleum products, etc. Deficiency in VAT regime, right? Those points just go through, just in case if they ask, we should not lose marks. Then supply under GST, extremely important chapter. You can spend 1 hour there because that's the base foundation. Section 7 talks about three parameters: SCB, supply of goods or services or both, for consideration in the course of furtherance of business, which has exceptions. Schedule 1, no consideration. Even though it's not a consideration as a supply, there are 4 items there. Schedule 3, even if all the parameters are satisfied, it's not a supply. Correct? Non-supplies, there are items there. There, land and building, as I discussed, cut-off date in case of building, when is the amount received, that becomes important. And specified actionable claims, they are goods and they are supply, because actionable claims other than specified actionable claims come under schedule 3. Then composite and mixed supply, it should be bundled service for single consideration. If it's naturally bundled and principal supply composite, else it is mixed supply. Accordingly, tax rates will be determined. Then charge a chapter, again 60 minutes we have to spend here, because RCM extremely important for us. Okay, very very important RCM. Here, charge section 9, reverse charge mechanism, 9.3 related to service. GTA, if the recipient is specified person, then it becomes taxable, else it is exempt. Supply by government, there are 4 supplies which are always forward charge. Renting of immovable property, registered person, RCM. Then other services, business entity located in taxable territory more than turnover exceeding the threshold limit in the preceding financial year, consideration more than 5,000. Then RCM, else it is exempt. Security service, we have to look at both. Supplier should be body corp, other than body corporate. Recipient should be registered. Exception, TDS registration and composition dealers. Renting of motor vehicle, both again I have to check. Supplier should be other than body corporate. Recipient also should be other than body corporate. Then sponsorship service. Here also I have to check both. Supplier should be other than body corporate. Recipient should be body corporate or partnership firm. Then legal service, advocates, firm of advocates, including senior advocate, providing the service to business entity located in taxable territory, turnover in the preceding financial year exceeding the threshold. Then renting of residential dwelling, supplier doesn't matter, recipient registered, it becomes comes under RCM, one exception for proprietor personal stay. Then renting of commercial dwelling, supplier is unregistered, then I have to come here, recipient is registered, RCM, exception composition dealer. Then services by director in the capacity as a director to that company comes under RCM, else no RCM. Then tax payable by e-commerce operator, 9.5. Just go through the list of services given there. Omnibus related transportation, if it is omnibus, supplier is a company forward charge, supplier is other than company only, then it comes under 9.5. Right, that's one specific difference with regard to transportation. Then composition levy, turnover limit, 10.1 and 10.2 has 1.5 CR, 75 lakhs. 10.2A has 50 lakhs in the preceding financial year, then you are eligible in the current financial year up to that particular limit. Goods and services, 10.1 and 10.2 is only for goods, 10.2A is other than 10.1 and 10.2 cases. So if you are providing service, you cannot come under a 10.1 and 10.2 except for restaurant service and marginal value of supply, that limit. 10% of the turnover in the state or union territory in the preceding financial year, or 5 lakh, whichever is here. Correct? Except for that case, in all other cases, you are ineligible. Rates of taxes, 10.1 and 10.2, manufacturer 1% of taxable, 1% of total turnover, trader 1% of taxable turnover, restaurant 5% of total turnover, 10.2A 6% of total turnover. Ineligible cases, extremely important. Go through that. So in exams, they have asked it. You have to just list that ineligible case, you'll get full marks. Okay, go through that ineligible cases. 10.1 and 10.2, 10.1, 10.2 and 10.2A have same ineligible cases. The only difference is 10.1 and 10.2 has one additional supplier of service. Right, that's one point that you have to keep in mind. You need not learn them separately. Marginal supply we have just now discussed. Procedures, glance through just in case if they ask. Okay, that is charge. Then place of supply, you can spend half an hour. Okay, because compulsorily there will be one question always, right? That's why we have place of supply of goods in domestic transaction section 10, with movement of goods, without movement of goods. Place of supply are different. Over the counter sale, where B2C, right? That also is important. And place of supply, uh, supply of goods on board a conveyance, right? All those points. Then in case of services, first we have general rule when none of the other rules apply, default rule. Then related to immovable property, performance based, we have two: event based, event admission, event organization, transportation of goods, transportation of passengers, right? Likewise telecommunication, banking, right? Likewise we have different kinds of services given. Go through all the place of supply points there. Then exemptions, 45 minutes. Again, don't spend too much time because it's vast. It's very, very vast. Just glance through all the points. Only those points which have notes, additional notes, those are the exemptions which becomes important. Like 12AA, right? Educational institution, extremely important. Healthcare service, extremely important. Right? Those are the things that we have to focus on. Section 11, goods exempt, don't bother, ignore. Services exempt, important ones, charitable institutions. There, that renting of rooms, commercial premises, right, and community halls, that is important. That limit less than 1000, less than 10,000 per day, and less than 10,000 per month. It's not less than or equal to, it is less than. Then agriculture related, there are few things. So one is other services processes involved will be considered as exempt only if it doesn't alter the essential characteristics and prices sorry, make it marketable for primary market, right? Those 2 points, that is important. Education related, first is educational institution definition, very, very important. Then output service, there are two types: any service to student, faculty, staff, and admission related entrance exams to anyone. Then input service, 5 input service, not all services are exempt for everyone. We had discussed category A, B, C. Glance through, go through that, extremely important. Healthcare service, again, healthcare service definition becomes important. And who should provide it? Clinical establishment, authorized medical practitioners, and paramedics. That is important. Then services by the government, services to government, glance through them. Construction services, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana and single residential unit, just go through them. Then transportation of service, transportation of passengers, glance through. Transportation of goods, very, very important for us. GTA, inland waterways, and railways and vessels, that chart, if you remember, that is important. Insurance service, just glance through. Performance of artists, that 1.5 lakh per performance, that is important. Admission to various events, just glance through. Apartment association is important, that 7,500 per month per member, right? That is important. Then time of supply, you can spend half an hour. There are only two sections there, section 12 and section 13. Section 12 is goods, 13 talks about services. We have forward charge, reverse charge, right? Those two important, especially reverse charge services. Now, because for self invoice also we have a timeline given, right? So for that purpose, reverse charge of services becomes very, very important. In reverse charge for service, we also have for associated enterprise, right? That also becomes relevant. Then time limit to issue tax invoice, the due dates, both under FCM of goods and service, we have discussed the due dates of issuance of invoice, that also is important. Then you have value of supply, spend 15 minutes. There 15 says two conditions: price is a sole consideration, supply between unrelated parties. Then I can go with 15.1 plus 15.2 minus 15.3. 15.2 inclusions, go through them, they are important because normally this is asked in second part of the compulsory question 5B. Okay, normally it will be asked there, so that is important. And exclusions, discount, two types of discount: at the time of supply would be shown in the invoice, reduce it. Post supply discounts, those three conditions to be satisfied, right? Extremely important. Then input tax credit, 45 minutes we can spend. Eligibility and conditions for taking input tax credit, 16, especially there 16 subsection 2, those eligibility conditions. 16 subsection 3 talks about depreciation, subsection 4 time limit, subsection 6 time limit, right? Those two we have to focus on. Then apportionment of credit, not so relevant for us. Blocked credit 17.5, very, very important. Okay, especially there are certain things: motor vehicle, construction related works contract, and construction on own account, right? Those become important. Don't miss blocked credit at all. Then credit in special circumstances. We should know those four cases where ITC I can claim 181A, B, C, D. Right? In two cases I can claim only inputs. In two cases I can claim inputs and capital goods. Right? That is also important, and timelines as well. Then transfer of business, composition to regular, etc. Utilization of ITC, just now we have already discussed the order of utilization. Rule 86A restriction on utilization, that is officer's par. So there's no specific conditions as such there. But rule 86B, very, very important. Their applicability, taxable turnover including export more than 50 lakh in a month, then 86B applies. What is the restriction? 1% of the output liability has to be paid in cash. But more important for us, the exceptions. Okay, the exceptions become extremely important. Then next chapter is registration. 45 minutes we can spend there. Persons liable for registration. Section 22 talks about turnover based liability. Section 24 talks about compulsory registration. Right, both becomes important for us. Here turnover, there are three, 20 lakhs, 40 lakhs. In some cases that 20 lakh and 40 lakh becomes 10 lakh, special category states, right? So that three limits we have to be thorough. Then persons not liable for registration, section 23. Procedures, glance through, don't ignore it, glance through. Okay, procedural question, if it is asked, we should be able to answer. That's why. But don't spend too much time there. Cancellation, revocation of cancellation. Rule 10A, which talks about the bank account time limit. This is normally asked in the exams. Time limit within which they have to update the bank details. Time limit, which is 30 days from the date of registration. Then tax invoice, credit notes and debit notes, spend 30 minutes, because here there are some things which becomes important. Tax invoice, revised invoice, when at all we can use we can issue revised tax invoice, right? And within what time we have to issue. In B2B, B2C, there are separate points there, right? Go through them. Consolidated invoice, can I issue a consolidated revised tax invoice? There are some conditions. Then consolidated normal, consolidated tax invoice, 200 rupees, value should be less than 200. B2C, and customer do not want the invoice, in such cases we can issue consolidated invoice at the end of the day. Then bill of supply, two scenarios, exempt and composition dealers. Receipt voucher, payment voucher, refund voucher, delivery challan, which are the scenarios we will be issuing those documents. Then credit notes and debit notes, there are conditions to issue credit notes and debit notes. If you learn one, the other one is opposite, right? That we will know, right? So if you go through one, the other one will be easy. Details to be mentioned in the invoice. E-invoice applicability is important. Turnover based more than 5 crore in any of the last years, then e-invoice is applicable. Exemption is very, very important. E-invoice is not applicable in those cases. Same way, dynamic QR code applicability, turnover based again, it also has exceptions. Some of the exceptions are similar here, so that it's easy for us to connect, but there are some specific unique exemptions also. Rule 47A, which talks about the time limit to issue self invoicing, recent amendments, so chances of asking in the exams will be there. Then we have accounts and records, 15 minutes. Don't ignore this, as I was talking about in a couple of exams when we were discussing those 5 question papers, we saw it, right? So a couple of exams they asked. So where we have to maintain, till when we have to maintain, that time limit is important. 72 months from the end of the due date of filing annual return, right? That is important. Then additional documents prescribed. Exception to composition levy is very, very important. So stock details and details of tax paid. Exceptions, that is very, very important. Then agent, this was asked, right? Manufacturer, service provider, works contractor, custodian, clearing or forwarding agents, owner of the warehouse. These specific points, remember 4 to 5 points in each, so that if it is asked for 4-5 marks, we will be able to write them. Okay. Then e-way bill, important chapter. When e-way bill has to be generated, that is important. The consignment value based discussion, that is important. It has two parts, part A, part B. What are they talking about? Can we show consolidated e-way bill? Is it valid? Does it have independent validity? Right? Validity of a e-way bill depends on the distance we are traveling, and also multimodal shipment and over dimensional cargo, right? All those comes into picture. Cancellation of e-way bill, time limit 24 hours. Cases where e-way bill not required, you need not remember everything, but glance through the list. That is important. Okay, we need not by heart them. Glancing is important. Then Payment of tax, electronic credit ledger, we can use it only to pay tax, whereas electronic cash ledger can be used for any payment. Electronic liability ledger is a summary. Interest on delayed payment, we just saw in that three exams there were questions on interest calculation, output as well as input. In case of input, it is on utilization only. Okay, that's why this interest calculations are normally asked in the exams, because we have output, input, and in input utilization only related point. A PMT09, transfer of cash from one head to another, etc. That is there. TDS, TCS, TDS applicability, normally it will only be for supply to government departments, right? Limit is there, 2.5 lakh, rate of TDS and exceptions. Okay, just go through there. They can ask one of the questions we saw, right? Well, they can ask you questions on whether TDS is applicable in this case. Similarly, TCS, supply through e-commerce operators other than 95. So supply through e-commerce operator, there are only two discussions that can happen. It will be either TCS or it should be 95, right? Both cannot occur, and out of those two, one should always occur. So supply through e-commerce operator, there is no limit there. And what is the rate of TCS? Go through. Then we have returns chapter. Again, glance through this. Don't spend too much of time there, but glance through. We should know what these returns are. Right? Only those that is sufficient. GSTR1 outward supply. GSTR1, if it is quarterly, then we have IFF, invoice furnishing facility. Right? Debarred from filing GSTR1. Five cases we have that can be asked in the exams. Which are the cases where we are debarred from filing GSTR1 or IFF? Then details of inward supply in GSTR2B, furnishing returns in 3B, GSTR4, GSTR5, other returns. We have first return, annual return, final return, right? GSTR11 for refund of UIN cases, right? Delay in furnishing the return. We have late fees. And there is one concept called GST practitioner. Who can become GST practitioner? Just glance through that. Okay, that is sufficient. Rule 88C and 88D go through, important. Then QRMP scheme, applicability, type of payment is important. TDS returns GSTR 7, TCS GSTR 8 and late fees. Okay, those things just glance through. Along with that, revise all the limits, thresholds, right? And especially at the end, once you're done with your all your revisions, or day after, just as the last part, turn the pages of RTP of September 25 and Jan 26 exams compulsorily, and this exam statutory update material, which is part of this R2R material. It is there here, statutory update material, because normally what happens, those circulars, in the last question, one question will be lifted from the statutory update material. That is what is happening, right? The circular based. So go through the statutory update material compulsorily. All the points we have already discussed, but don't miss revising it. Okay. So this is again MTP of Jan 26, just as analysis, which when we discuss the 5 question papers we have already discussed, it's almost the same questions, right? Value of supply, net GST, composition, eligibility, place of supply, refund voucher, tax obligation arising due to cancellation of registration, then definition of charitable activity. In 12AA discussion when we had in exemption chapter, charitable activity definition, that was asked in the exams, right? Then time of supply under reverse charge, then e-commerce operator related, some filings related, okay, filings related point, that was MTP1, MTP2. This is your attempt, Jan 26 exam MTPs that we are talking about. Computation of ITC available was asked as a part of this itself. Taxable or exempt supply determination, whether it's taxable or exempt, time of supply, liable to register, and time of issuance of tax invoice. Post supply discounts eligible, those 3 scenarios, those 3 conditions we have to write. Place of supply, mobile connection, telecommunication, GST practitioner, who can be registered. Right? That's the reason I said who can become GST practitioner, we have to go through. Okay, these are the points that we have to focus on. Are we clear? Anyone has anything? No. Okay, so with that, I'd like to wish everyone all the very best. Right, just to focus on whatever we are supposed to do, right? The process, just plan out, because there are certain topics which you might be better prepared of when compared to other things. So plan your preparations in the next 1.5 days so that you're maximizing your efforts. Okay, that's the only thing that we have to keep in mind. Yes, with that, I'd like to wish everyone all the very best once again. And Sir will continue now. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, friends. Namaste. Hi, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
How is life?
Crazy, sir.
Okay. Let us resume our discussion on income tax. Success is not just about reaching the top, but about enjoying the climb. So your success starts with your journey, not when you reach the top. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even if you don't want to do it. So at this stage, so many questions will come. So income tax ಓದ್ಬೇಕಾ, second group ಬರೀಬೇಕಾ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Let all those things come. ಈಗ ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ first group ಆದ್ಕೊಂಡು second group ಬರೀಬೇಕಾ ಬೇಡವಾ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. That stupid question was already answered in September 25 result, where first group result was very less, second group result was very high, as high as 26% plus. So that stupid question ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. So that's why just enjoy the journey. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. That is after 19th evening ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ exam ಮುಗಿಯೋದು. You are the only person on earth who can use your ability. Let us use it. ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಆಯ್ತು. MCQs not beginning ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. So income tax mainly 5 heads of income, set off, deduction, TDS. Right, correct sections only if known perfectly, partially known better. Maintaining good pace is extremely important. So costing paper, because it is costing, then this paper and FMSL, there are 2 subjects integrated. That's why you need to. So 3 descriptive questions in each, 6 descriptive question ಆಗತ್ತೆ, plus MCQs. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ your speed has to be exceptionally good in this paper as well as FMSM. FMSM ಅಲ್ಲಿ at least SM ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ set off ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, FM ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ time ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Then 3 separate booklets will be given. Here also FMSM also. MCQ together, income tax separately descriptive, GST. Compulsory go through 2 ICI MTPs like SMS was mentioning. Jan 26, September 25. ನಿಮಗೆ May 25, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು ಬೇಡ. May 25, September 25 and Jan 26. ಮೂರಕ್ಕೆ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕ್ವಶನ್ MTP, RTP go through ಮಾಡಿ. So at least glance ಮಾಡಿ. That is important. Okay, right. Then aim at 100 out of 129. We can RFC score earlier. So for a couple of exams, it is very standard. Now again, it's become reasonably easy, but ತುಂಬಾ easy ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Income tax GST paper ತುಂಬಾ easy ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So even our first rank holder, last exam ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. So Vyakta Bhatt has got more marks than the first rank holder, all India. So you can score 90, 95 ಆರಾಮ್ಸೆ ತಗೋಬಹುದು, but calculative risk ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, unnecessary risk ತಗೋಬಹುದು, perfect represent ಮಾಡಿ. Then so 100 out of 129, you know the question paper. MCQ 30 marks. Income tax is 49 marks. GST is 50 marks. So 90 plus is a good. Be ready for certain questions for 2 to 5 marks. Totally unknown, it's okay. Read questions carefully and answer accordingly. Sub question miss ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. Working notes are important. Assumptions are important. So toughest of tough paper. If the paper ತುಂಬಾ tough ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸಿದ್ರು ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಅಂತ minimum MCQ ಅಲ್ಲಿ around 15 to 20 ಬರಬೇಕು. GST repetitive problem theory ಅಲ್ಲಿ okay, out of 35, 20 plus ಬರಬೇಕು. Total income, PGBP, salary is 20 plus. Already you cross 50 plus. 70 plus is an average, 50 plus is a minimum requirement, 70 plus is a good mark, 80 to 100 is an excellent mark in income tax GST. So high expectation ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನನಗೆ 100 ಬರಬೇಕಂತ ಹೋಗೋದು ಬೇಡ. So ನಿಮ್ದು minimum, so MCQ ಅಲ್ಲಿ around 15 to 20, GST repetitive around 15 to 20, income tax repetitive around 15 to 20. So ಮೂರು ಕಡೆದು 15 to 20 ತೆಗೆದಾಗ average 50 plus ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So but this can be the average marks of 20, 25, 25 and above 80, above 90. Wow. So same thing what we told earlier. Last page ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 5 minutes 10 minutes scribble ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Time ತುಂಬಾ important. Use the right words. Exemption ಅಂದ್ರೆ section 10, deduction ಅಂದ್ರೆ section 80. So sub question miss ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. Wrong extra question compulsory attempt ಮಾಡಿ. Don't relax within 3 hours. Wrong expectation, ಅಯ್ಯೋ exam tough easy ಹಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಬೇಡ. Exam will be exam. Wrong section ಬರೀಬೇಡಿ. Right. So just to take you to the format. So NIM syllabus mainly for a non-corporate individual, some partnership firm related. Total income, 5 heads of income on add ಮಾಡಿ, that is gross total income. Plus chapter 6A reduction, all deductions of the old regime. So new regime ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3 section, 80CCD, subsection 2, then 80CCH, that is a pension scheme, Agniveer, then 80JJAA, ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ deduction ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ new regime ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Then It is tax on total income earned by SSE, 2 within bracket 7. SSE means a person is liable to pay tax or any other sum under this act and includes representative SSE. Example, agent of a non-resident, deemed SSE, parents of a minor, a representative SSE in default who has defaulted to the notice, etc. Previous year, 2 within bracket 34, read with section 3. The financial year immediately preceding the assessment year. Normally 12 months. Exceptions, new business or new source in the middle of the year. Assessment year is always a period of 12 months, commencing on 1st April every year. So 5 slab SSEs with BL. Okay. So 2.5 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakh, all old regime subject. So 5%, 20%, 30%. Then resident, resident 60 years and above, 3 lakh. Resident 80 years and above, 80 lakh. Okay. Bhavana Matte Chitra. Then firms, local authority, 30%. Companies get buyout ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ generally 30% tax. But if the turnover in the 2 years preceding, ನಿಮ್ದು ಯಾವುದು previous year ಇದೆಯೋ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ 2 years preceding ಇದ್ರೆ, okay, ನಿಮ್ದು previous year ಯಾವುದು 24-25, all of you are writing examination. So January 26, previous year ಯಾವುದು 24 ಗಿಂತ -2. 2023 less than 4 is 25%, otherwise it is 30%. And foreign company ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ 40% ಅಲ್ವಾ, 35%. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ಗೆ 35% ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಕಂಪನಿ, ಓಕೆ. ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿಗೆ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಪ್ ಟು 10,000 10%, ನಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ. 10,000 10%, ಅದು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ. 10,000 to 20,000 20%, above 20,000 30%. ಓಕೆ, ರೈಟ್. ದೆನ್ ನ್ಯೂ ರಿಜೀಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ 5 ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ SSEs. ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು 3 lakh ನಿಲ್, 3 to 7 ಇದು ಈ ವರ್ಷದ್ದು ಮಾತ್ರ, Jan 26ಗೆ. 3 to 7, 7 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 15, above 15. 5%, 10% increase ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ 5%. 25% slab ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. 30% is above 15 lakh. Then surcharge for all those 5 slab SSE 50 lakh ಇಂದ ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Above 50 lakh ನೀಡಿ, 50 lakh to say up to 50 lakh ನೀಡಿ, 50 lakh to 100 lakh 10%, above 100 lakh 15%, above 200 lakh 25%, above 500 lakh 37%. ನ್ಯೂ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 37% ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ 200 lakh is 25%. And for 111A, 112A, 112 and dividend, maximum surcharge 15%. Again, below 50 lakh, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಸರ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಪ್ ಟು 100 lakh 10%. ಎಬೋ 100 lakh, ಎಬೋ 200 lakh ಆದಾಗ ಈ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸೆಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ 15% ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದೆನ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅದರ್ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಎಬೋ 1 crore 12% is a surcharge. So this is the definition. Person, 2 within bracket 31. So 7 categories of persons here. Individual HF, company, firm, AOP, BY, local authority, any other AJP. Then section 4, chargeability. Capital receipts are normally not chargeable unless specifically included. Revenue receipts are normally chargeable unless specifically exempted. Then rebate only for a resident individual. Total income up to rupees 5 lakh, 12,500 ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. 112A ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. 112 ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, 111 ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಲಾಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನ್ಯೂ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ ಟು 7 lakh rupees 25,000 ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಜಿನ್ ರಿಲೀಫ್ ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ 87A. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು 7 lakh 22,222. ಓಕೆ, 20ಗೆ ರೌಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ನೀವು ಮಾರ್ಜಿನ್ ರಿಲೀಫ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಟು ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ 113(1) due date. Employees' contribution to any PF ESI first is added to the income. When it is paid within the due date of the relevant act, it is allowed as a reduction. 2-3 important confusions. Provident fund, approved superannuation fund, gratuity fund only. Employer contribution, you have to pay within 139(1) due date. If it is paid, allowed in this year, if paid next year, pay allowed in the next year. Year of payment. Point number 1. Point number 2. Same thing with 40 small a1. Same thing with 40A small 1A. That is about the TDS related. So payment outside India or non-resident in India. At 40A 1A 30%. TDS related to the resident. All the cases 139(1) due date. Whereas 40 small a within the bracket III, salary payable to non-resident in India or outside India, you have to pay within 7th of next month. March month ಗೆ 30th April. TDS due date is Srinivas as per chapter 17B Deepa. After chapter 17B. So more important due dates ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Chapter 17B is about TDS. Every month you Charan, you have to pay by 7th of next month. March month is anything you have to pay by 30th April, first month. Next, PF ESI ಗೆ PF ESI law ನಲ್ಲಿ it has to be paid within 15th of next month. So employee contribution ಹಿರಣ್ಮೈ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಆಗ ಆಡ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಪೇ ವಿದಿನ್ 15th of next month. ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, TDS ಗೆ 7th, PF ESI ಗೆ 15th, whereas employers contribution to PF etc. Okay, it is a 139 128. ಕ್ವಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದನ್ನೊಂದು. TDS due date as per TDS law, 7th of next month. Vijayalakshmi. And March ಗೆ for March ಏನು ಶಿರಿನ್ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್
30th April.
30th.
April. ಕೀರ್ತನ. TDS ಗೆ. Next, employees contribution to PF ESI. Uttamni, employees contribution to any PF, any ESI. ಯಾವಾಗ? 15th of next month.
15.
Next, employers contribution. Employers contribution to approved funds. Shobini, approved ಇರಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Approved funds. 139(1) due date. ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಹಿರಣ್ಮೈ? 30th November, 31st October, 31st July. ಯಾವುದು ವೈಶಾಲಿ? ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಡ್ ಡೇಟ್ within the bracket, specified date for tax audit report, 10AA report, Mitra, 1 month before 139(1). Sana Kaushik. 139(1) ಗಿಂತ 1 month before 31st October ಮತ್ತೆ 30th September ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 31st July ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಆಡಿಟ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನಾವು ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದಟ್, ಆ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ರಿಲೇಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದು? ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಯಾವ್ದು? 7th of next month ಅಂತ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. 7th of next month ಪಕ್ಕ?
Yes, sir.
ಪಕ್ಕ ಬರಿ. ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಬಾರ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ದೀಪ ನಾನ್ ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅಥವಾ ನಾನ್ ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಶ್ರೇಯಸ್, ನಿತ್ಯ, ಸೂಪರ್, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
That's it.
ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, ಅದು ಲ್ಯಾಗ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್, ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತು ಬಿಡಿ, ಲ್ಯಾಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅಥವಾ ನಾನ್ ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಬೈದಾ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪೇ ಬೈ 7th of next month. ಎಲ್ಸ್ PD. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸಲೋ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ಏನು? 15th of next month ಇದ್ದಂಗಿದೆ.
Yes, sir.
ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಸ್ PD, ಅದು PDನೇ. Whereas last ಯಾವುದು 131 due date for other non-resident payments and other than salary ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಲಾಶ್ ಎನಿ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಟು ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ 30%. ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಆದರೆ 30% ಡಿಸಲ್ ಆಗೋದು, ಬೇರೆ 100%. ಎನಿ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಟು ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ TD ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಡಿಸಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅದು ದ ಇಯರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್. ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿರಿ ಹಿರಣ್ಮಯಿ ಸಹನ. ಏನು 2nd April 2026 ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಲೋ ದಟ್ ಬಿಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ 26, 27. 2nd April 2026 ಅಂದ್ರೆ 2nd April 26 ಫಾಲ್ಸ್ 26, 27 ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ 25, 26 ನೋಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್? ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ then employer key man insurance policy, if it is received by the employer, it is a business income. Employee salary income, anybody else is income from other source. Shobin. Then one special point about the premium, highly important, recent amendment agittu, unit linked insurance premium 1st February 21 ಆ ಡೇಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ULIP ಫೆಬ್ರವರಿ, ULIP ಎರಡು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ULIP 1st February 21 ನಂತರ ಆದ್ರೆ, ಓಕೆ, 2,50,000 ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಇದ್ರೆ So then in that case, it will be taxable when it is mature. Death are fully exempt. Taxable as a capital gain. ULIP is a capital gain. ಅದನ್ನೇ 1/4/2023 2 ವರ್ಷ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ 1/4/2023 ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿಗೆ ಡಬಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಓಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು 5 lakh rupees ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಪ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು 5 lakh ಇದು ಅರ್ಧ 2.5 lakh ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ above 5 lakh after 1/4/2023 it is taxable as income from other source. How much is the taxable amount received in both the cases minus deduction which was not claimed earlier. If you already claimed ETC ಅದನ್ನು ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, what is not claimed ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ULIP ಆದರೆ capital gain ಅಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೆ income from other sources. 56-13 extremely important, highly expected question. Next, agriculture income, it is fully exempt. Agriculture income in India fully exempted, whereas above 5,000 agriculture income, above BL non-agriculture income ಇದ್ದಾಗ partial integration ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 3 steps. Step 1, agriculture income, non-agriculture income, add tax. Step 2, add agriculture income to BL, tax. Step 3, step 1 minus step 2. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ 87A ರಿಬೇಟ್. ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ 4 lakh, agriculture income 100 lakh, 87A ರಿಬೇಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Because exempted income is never a part of total income. Total income. Right. Then rubber, coffee, tea, ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Rubber 65%, coffee 75%, tea 60%. Highest percentage is agriculture. ಕಾಫಿ again grounded, roasted, ಚಕೋರಿ ಕಚೋರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರೆ ಟೀ ತರನೇ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 60%. ಸೊ ಶುಗರ್ ಕೇನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಫೇರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಗೆ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ತ್ರಿಷಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಇಂದ ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಆದಿತ್ಯ. ರೈಟ್. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರೂಷಿಯಲ್, ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 99% ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ. ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್, ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಬರೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್. So 6-1, 182 days or more he was in India, resident. Which country citizen? Badbege. ಅಥವಾ 60 days plus 365 days. ಪ್ರತಿ ಸತಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಅನಾಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದು ಏನು ಹೆಂಗಾಗಿರುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ನಿತ್ಯ an Indian marries, okay, a South African boy. South African boy can become a resident, whereas Nitya can become a non-resident. Because ನಿತ್ಯಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. 60 days, 120 days, 180 days. Whereas foreign citizen exception ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So 60 days also is covered. So Nitya, an Indian citizen comes to India on a visit. ಅವರಿಗೆ 182 days apply ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. Whereas a foreigner, her husband is a foreign citizen. He comes to India on a visit. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. 60 plus 365 days ಅವ್ರು ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. So very important, emotional, no emotions in income tax. So 182 days or more resident. ಅಥವಾ 60 plus ಮಮತಾ 365 days in earlier 4 years. 60 days exception. An Indian citizen leaving India, ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, Indian citizen, okay, leaving India for employment or proof, 182 days. Indian citizen or person of Indian origin coming to India, then normally 182 days. However, if those persons Indian total income they received in India, earned in India, business control outside India is greater than 15 lakh, 60 days should be substituted by 120 days. He is not a resident under any of this clause. You have to go to 6-1A only for Indian citizen. Where ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, Indian citizen and is Indian total income ಚೈತ್ರ ಅಂತ greater than 15 lakh, then if he is not liable to tax in any other country, then he is a deemed resident and R but NOR. Once he is 120 days ಅಥವಾ 6-1A, he is a R but NOR. Where other cases, last 10 years he is a non-resident in 9 years, he is R but NOR. ಅಥವಾ last 7 years he should have stayed in India for 729 days or less, he is a R but NOR. Everybody else is R and OR. Once you decide section 6-1, ಅಲ್ಲಿ 6-2 HF ಕರ್ತಾ ಅಷ್ಟು satisfy 6-1. ಯಾವುದು HF partly resident in India, partly in India resident, otherwise it is a non-resident. Then ಕರ್ತಾ has to satisfy that 9 years and 729 days. Company, Indian company is always resident in India. Foreign company, when poem Kavya is in India. Partnership firm AOP etc. partly in India resident, 100% outside India non-resident. Once you decide, only individual and HF has got 3 categories. Everybody else has got only 2. ಯಾವುದು ನಿತಿನ್, resident ಅಥವಾ non-resident. ಸುದರ್ಶನ ರೂಪ. So R and OR, global income is taxable. Non-resident only 2 incomes, received in India, earned in India, including deemed to be received ಅಥವಾ deemed to be earned. R but NOR, ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ NR ಗೆ 2 ಇನ್ಕಮ್, 2 ಆಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟ್. NOR ಗೆ 3 ಇನ್ಕಮ್, because there are 3. Business controlled or profession outside India, but what? Sana controlled from India, ಅಥವಾ ಏನು ಸಾನ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್, profession set up in India. R&R, anywhere in the world, whatever the income you earn, it's going to be taxable in India. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಶ್ರೇಯಸ್? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಅದು ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ರೂಷಿಯಲ್, ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 7, 3 ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ transferred by annual accretion to RPF about 12% ಮತ್ತೆ above 9.5% interest. URPF with RPF transfer, ETCCD transfer. So when the employer contributes, that is the income deemed to be received in India. Then section 9, incomes deemed to accrue as in India. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Following are deemed to accrue: business connection, then what you call SCP, significant economic presence. ಆದಿತ್ಯ ಹೆಗಡೆ ಪನ್ನಾಗ್ ಹೆಗಡೆ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಯಾವುದು? ಆದಿತ್ಯ ಪನ್ನಾಗ್. Significant economic presence leads business connection when the value of business in India is greater than 2 crore ಅಥವಾ number of users in India more than 3 lakh. Number is 3 lakh to MCQ ಗೆ ದೀಪ. ಏನು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು? ಹೆಗಡೆ ಆದಿತ್ಯ ಪನ್ನಾಗ್. ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ should be more than 2 crores. Value more than 2 crore ಅಥವಾ ಏನು number of users in India ಕೃಪಾ 3 lakh. It leads to business connection taxable in India, basically for a non-resident agent. Then salary earned in India, including leave period, salary paid by the government of India to an Indian citizen outside India. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅಲವೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪರ್ಕ್ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಅವರು ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ ನೆನಪಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
Yes, sir.
Dividend paid by an Indian company outside India, ಮತ್ತೆ interest royalty FTS 915, 916, 917 deemed to accrue or arise in India unless royalty and FTS ಅಲ್ಲಿ that is used for business outside India. And even monetary gifts outside India are going to be taxable for everybody, including R but NOR, NR, etc. The provisions not applicable for Article 314 pensioners who are nonsense fellows who are outside India. Dividend includes final dividend, interim dividend, then deemed dividend, AD to the power LRL ಬಾರ್ ಬಿ. ಈಗ ಬೈಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಏನು ಬೈಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಫೆಕ್ಟ್? ಇದು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. 110/24 ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಡೇಟ್. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 110/2024 ಬೈಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಲೀಡ್ಸ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಇದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಲೆಗೆ ಬಿಡಿಸ್ಬಿಡಿ. Jan 26 ಮಾತ್ರ. 110/24 ನಂತರ ಬೈಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಲೀಡ್ಸ್ ಟು ಡೀಮ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್. ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್. ನೌ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 110/24 ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಲಾಸ್. Entire cost of the asset is a capital loss. Before 110/24 there was no deemed dividend. So say buyback amount minus cost of the capital gain. ಈಗ anything you receive is a deemed dividend and any entire cost is a capital loss. ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೋದಾ? Next, income from salary computation. Basic pay fully taxable, DA fully taxable, HRA government or non-government, least of the following is exempt: rent paid minus 10% of salary, actual HR received 40% or 50% if you are a BCDM residence. Then differential received minus exempted per every time. Received minus exempted. Then special allowances, city hardware, official allowance, received minus spent is taxable. Ali per diem allowance alle barutte. Transport allowance is not official, it is personal. Maneinda traveling is official. Transport is a personal allowance. Transport allowance exemption illa. So personal allowances received minus prescribed. Children education allowance Deepa 100 per month per child up to a maximum of 2 children. Children hostel allowance 300 per month per child up to a maximum of 2 children. Transport allowance for specially abled, disabled, blind ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು? 3,200 per month. 300 per month. Then basic pay, allowances, bonus, fees, commission fully taxable. ಇಲ್ಲಿ DA ಇಲ್ಲಿ fully taxable. HRA etc. computation ಗೆ only if it is taken for retirement benefit ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Then perquisites rule 3 section 17(2) RFA x plus y minus z ಅದೇ percentage ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, very important. Then motor car 600, 900, 1,800, 2,400 per month if it is partly used, plus 900 rupees per month when the driver is used. Then perquisite ಅಲ್ಲಿ car is sold to the employee, then cost minus 20% WDV depreciation minus Z. Computers and electronic items are 50% WDV depreciation. Anything else actually is 10% SLR. So perquisite. Then retirement benefits, RPF, employer contribute about 12% taxable, interest above 9.5% taxable. In addition, approved superannuation fund, RPF and ETCCD, above 7.5 lakh employer contribute ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, excess is taxable. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ interest is also taxable. Then gratuity, commuted pension, earned leave, all the three exempted for government employee, received at the time of retirement or after the retirement, received in service are fully taxable. Then non-government least of the following, ella kade actual received statutory limit format is same. So gratuity statutory limit 20 lakh covered or not covered. Then encashment of earned leave only 25 lakh. Then special point under covered is last salary drawn into 15/26 into 30 years. If it is 29 years, 7 months. 29 years, 6 months of the Srinivas Barodilla. 29 years birthday. Not covered adre last salary, average salary of last 10 months into 1/2 into 29 years only. Number of months ignore made. Whereas commuted pension is fully taxable. Pension is fully taxable as salary. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Whereas family pension income from other source, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1/3 or 15,000 whichever less other source deduction ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ family pension. Next coming to the commute ಮಾಡುವಾಗ also receive gratuity. ಅಲ್ಲಿ also receive gratuity ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಡ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Gratuity received 4 lakh and is also receiving gratuity. 1/3 of the full value. They say 60% commuted. 60% ಗೆ 6 lakh ಆದರೆ 100% ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು? ಅದರದ್ದು 1/3 if you also receive gratuity. But again, blunder, received minus exempted ಮಾಡಿ. ನೀವು 100% computed ಮಾಡಿದ notional figure ಇಂದ minus ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. Whatever you received, so 6 lakh, because if you remember that example, 6 lakh is for 60%, 100% ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? 10 lakh. So taxable amount 10 lakh minus 3 lakh 33 ಅಲ್ಲ, 6 lakh minus 3 lakh 33,330. Doesn't receive gratuity, 1/2 ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Then earned leave ಅಲ್ಲಿ special point, average salary into leave creditor, leave granted by the employer more than 30 days per annum for income tax purpose ignore. Income purpose complete years ಮಾತ್ರ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. Also ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ 4 points ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Average salary into 10 times, there is an extra point in 1010A. Add ಮಾಡಿ gross salary. ಇಲ್ಲಿ exemption under 1014 ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. If it is old regime 1013A 1014 ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. New regime ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Old regime, new regime. If they ask only new regime ಮಾಡಿ. If they ask old regime, only both ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಿ. ಕಾಲಮ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇಮ್. 1013A ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, 1014 ಎಕ್ಸಿಬಿಷನ್ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, -1500 ಮೈನರ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ 3200 ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ವೆದರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಏಬಲ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್. ಸಾರಿ, ಓಲ್ಡ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಆರ್ ನ್ಯೂ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ under 16(1)A, ಓಲ್ಡ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ 50,000, new regime 75,000. Entertainment allowance 16(2), only for the government employee old regime 16(2) and 16(3). 1/5 of the basic pay actual received, actual limit of 5,000. Professional tax borne by employer add ಮಾಡಿ. If it is borne by employee, deduct ಮಾಡಿ. Borne by employer ಅಂದ್ರೆ add and deduct. It is about salary. Set equity ಗೆ fair market value minus that into number of shares. ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎನಿ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್. ನಾನ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 10 lakh, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎನಿ ಅಮೌಂಟ್. LTC twice in a block of 4 years. ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ ಇಯರ್ ನಮ್ದು 2022 to 25. ತಪ್ಪಿದೆ ಭಾವನಾ, ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳು. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ 22 to 25 ನಿಮ್ದು ಬ್ಲಾಕ್. ನಿಮ್ದು ಪ್ರಿವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಯಾವುದು? 24-25 ಅಲ್ವಾ?
Yes, sir.
24 twice in a block of travel expense ಮಾತ್ರ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. House property. So 23(2) property ಇದ್ರೆ 23(2) property self-occupied or could not be occupied because the business employment professionals were GAV nil, only reduction interest 30,000 for AC R3 less 2 lakh rupees ವರೆಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, up to 3 lakh if it is for AC only, and construction is completed within 5 years from the end of the financial year which the loan was borrowed. April borrowed, September borrowed, March borrowed, doesn't matter. From the year end 5 years ಒಳಗೆ ಪನ್ನ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. If it is a let out property or DLOP, MRV or FRV whichever is higher, that one ಅಥವಾ ರಜನಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ standard rent, whichever is less. That figure ಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ఇప్పుడు DLOP more than 2 ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಇದ್ರೆ 2 nil ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಉಳಿದುದನ್ನ you do the calculation. Yeah. ಏನು 4 years. ಯಾರಪ್ಪ ಅದು ಏನಂತದ್ದು? ಯಾ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊ. ಯಾ ಸೊ ನಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಚಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದ ಯಾರೊಬ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ ಬಿಡಿ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ಔಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸೊ ARR ಮೈನಸ್ UR ಅಥವಾ ಭಾವನ ಎಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಮೈಂಡ್ ಮಾಡು ಚಾಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ARR ಮೈನಸ್ UR ಅಥವಾ ದಟ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ವಿಚ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೈಯರ್ and E is equal to D, then you give a vacancy allowance. Municipal tax paid anywhere in the world, cash basis ಅಲ್ಲಿ, which is a percentage of MRV, NAV ತಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. From there 30% standard action and interest any amount allowed. If it is new regime ಅಲ್ಲಿ original to property deduction ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, whereas new regime ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓಕೆ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಬಟ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. 2 lakh rupees what is otherwise permitted set off ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Clear? Next, PGBP was the biggest heads of income. P&L account ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ IND account ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. That means they are following accrual method of accounting. Whereas receipts and payments account rarely ಕೊಟ್ರೆ, cash book ಕೊಟ್ರೆ, you have to go by cash basis. Cash basis ಅಲ್ಲಿ actual received irrespective of the year for it belongs to minus actual paid business expense minus section 32 depreciation. Difference is the taxable provision income. Business income ಆದರೆ IND account ಅಥವಾ P&L account ಕೊಟ್ರೆ net profit as per P&L ಅಥವಾ surplus, add number 1 expenses disallowed but debited to P&L, add number 2 business incomes not related to P&L. Less exact opposite. So for that you need to have a knowledge about allowed or not allowed. 30 to 36 specific deduction, rent, repairs etc of the building, repairs and insurance of the machinery. 32 depreciation. You have to be careful. Residential building normally 5%, office building normally actually office building, factory building 10%, then machinery normal plant 15%, intangible assets 25%, cars used as a taxi purpose 30%, then computers, then printer etc 40%, right? Then plant includes vehicles, ship, surgical equipment, everything coming under the 15%. The format is open in WDV, add actual cost, visualize ಮಾಡಿ. Example writing use ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. If it is 4th October ಗಿಂತ ಮೊದಲಿದ್ರೆ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ you have to visualize it is a normal blue ink, black color. Whereas if it is after that date 4th October ನಂತರ ಆದ್ರೆ you have to visualize the red ink. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಕ್ ಹೊಡ್ರಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಇಂಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಕ್ ಹೊಡ್ರಿ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. Then less sale value minus insurance money for complete destruction. Difference is called WDV. WDV ಗೆ ಅಂಡರ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ 2 RMRs. ಆರೋ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಹಾಕಿಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ. Less than 180 days, less than equal to ಇಲ್ಲ, less than 180 days ಇದ್ರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದ ರೆಡ್ ಇಂಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋಲ್ಲ less than 180 days into half into rate. More than 180 days ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಫುಲ್ ಡಿಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಕೃಪಾ. ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ ತರ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. less than 180 days ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಏನು ಕೃಪಾ, greater than equal to 180 days. ಓಕೆ, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ D1 D2. If it is a manufacturing comes are absolutely new plant and machinery, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 20% additional depreciation. Less than 180 D3 ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ whatever amount you claiming this year, again the same amount you can claim 10% in the next year. Scientific research section 35. Any revenue expenditure fully allowed, any capital expenditure except land fully allowed. Earlier 3 years raw material salary excluding perpetuity allowed, land is never allowed. Then section 36 gives the list of interest, salary, commission, everything is allowed. Bad debt only if it is the actual sales related or money lent in the ordinary course of business. Then 37(1) extremely crucial. 3 plus 2 conditions. 3 not covered under 30 to 36, not covered, not a personal expenditure, not a capital expenditure. Then incurred during the previous year, wholly and exclusively for the business, fully allowed. One special point, CSR expenditure of 135(1) of the Companies Act disallowed. Then fines and penalties. First, fines and penalty. Fines and penalties disallowed unless there are compensatory penalties. Income tax is never allowed. GST is allowed, custom duty is allowed, interest on delayed payment is also allowed. Whereas fees and penalty under any law shall be totally disallowed. Then one special amendment last year, and be careful. Indian Medical Association has barred doctors from taking the gifts. Our pharmaceutical company kotre, atare lawyers association, C Institute, yavu bar agidre, a particular association, adanna avaru still kotre, that expenditure will be fully disallowed. 40 small a. TDS ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ salary outside India 100% disallowed. Other than salary outside India ಅಥವಾ non resident in India 100% temporary disallowed due date ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. 40A 1A 30% disallowance for any payment resident in India. Then 40A 2 income tax is disallowed, interest is disallowed. Then 1010cc tax on non-monetary purpose is borne by the employer, notwithstanding anything contained in section 200 of the Companies Act of 1956. Employee ಗೆ ಅದು fully exempted, employer ಗೆ ಅದು deduction ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. 40 capital A within the bracket to payment to relatives. Unreasonable amount. 24 lakh is paid when the reasonable is 20 lakh. 4 lakh is disallowed. 40A3 extremely crucial section. These two sections. But then ಕೇಳಿದಂಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲೋ about 10,000 in a
Yes.
about 10,000 in a day to a person in aggregate. Business expenditure, revenue expenditure, current year kotre, entire expenditure disallowed. 4 lakh bill ಗೆ 12,000 kotre out. Whereas last year expenditure which was allowed, this year if you pay about 10,000, such payment is a deemed profit. This is under 40A3 and 40A3A section. Then capital expenditure, second proviso to 43(1). Any payment made 10 lakh computer ಗೆ 14,000 cash ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಆ 14,000 minus ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು. Similarly, those expenses are disallowed on 35AD, etc. One special point, present batch ಸಮೇತ, very, very important, 35,000 rupees, present batch ಅವ್ರು ನೆನಪಡಿ, goods carriage vehicle ಗೆ 35,000 ಗೆ cash ಕೊಡೋದು. Okay, 10,000 rupees normal case. ಈಗ ಲಾರಿ ಗಿರಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪಾಪ ಲಾರಿ ಅವ್ರು ಚೆಕ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಪ್ ಟು 35,000 rupees, ಬಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್, ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 35,000 ವರೆಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ನಾವು ಹೈಬರ್ನೇಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. 40 small b partnership firm, that is again very, very important. If it is a partnership firm assessed as such, where conditions of partnership firms are satisfied, then interest is allowed. Simple interest 12% per annum as per the deed, whichever is less. Whereas salary or remuneration by whatever name, only for the working partners allowed. Who is working partners? Any partner who is actively engaged in the affairs of the business is allowed. Changes ಆಗಿದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಯರ್ ಇಂದ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕದು. 40 small b ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಈ ವರ್ಷನೇ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಅಪ್ ಟು first 6 lakh book profit, 90% or 3 lakh, whichever is higher. Highly expected question. First question ಬರ್ಬೋದು ರಜನಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. On the balance book profit 60%, okay, or as per the deed only to the working partner. ಈ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ರೇಷಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದೆನ್ ಡಿಮ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಓಕೆ. 43B very, very important again, 8 plus 1 item. B, capital B looks like 8, okay, 8 plus 1 item. So 3 related to the 2 related to the government. ಯಾವುದು? Any payment, indirect taxes, so like GST etc. payment to the government. Then Indian Railways, whatever the railway asset platform use ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ what is payable to the government, you have to pay within 139 one due date. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೋದಲ್ವಾ, 43B ಇದೇ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್. Then interest related, you are paying employee related, bonus or commission. Then encashment of earned leave, employer's contribution to any fund, RPF, superannuation fund, etc. Then you have interest related, interest to scheduled bank, interest to including cooperative bank and NBFC. Then all this 131 ಒಳಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. If paid later, allowed the next year. One special item, 43B within the bracket small h, very important. Any payment payable to the trade payables, micro and small enterprise ಮಾತ್ರ, MS accounts ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. It has to be paid within the MSMED Act. Normally 45 days ಒಳಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. Whereas ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 31st March ಒಳಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಅಲೌ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ಬಿಲ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಡೇಟ್ ಏನೋ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ, ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಅಲೌ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 31st March this year, otherwise it is allowed in the next year. Then special income, special taxation of the business income, presumptive taxation. 44A talks about books of account. 44AB is a tax audit. Tax audit is when your turnover in the last year, turnover in the current year, I'm sorry, is more than 100 lakh. Whereas profession more than 50 lakh. However, 10 crore ವರೆಗೆ time limit amount ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ when the cash receipt and cash payment both are less than 5%. Tax audit limit is 50 lakh. Again, cash receipt is less than 5% ಇದ್ರೆ 75 lakh ವರೆಗೆ limit ಇದೆ. Then presumptive taxation 44 AD when your total turnover is less than 200 lakh. However, if the cash receipt less than 5%, up to 300 lakh, you are supposed to offer 8% of the turnover. Whereas digital collection anna, whatever you do up to 139 one due date, 6% offer ಮಾಡಿ ಸಾಕು. 44 adda is whatever the professional receipt you have got, 50 lakh ಅಥವಾ 75 lakh, ಅದರದ್ದು 50% ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ಆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. It is for a film tea ಹಾಕಿ, okay? Specified profession ಮಾತ್ರ. Then 44 AE goods carriage vehicle ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. Goods carriage ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಎಲ್ಲ, okay? Goods carriage vehicle. So if you are having less than 10 vehicles, then you have to offer for heavy goods vehicle 1000 per ton per vehicle per month or part of the month. Whereas other vehicle get 7,500 per month or part of the month. 3 months, 2 days andre 4 months. Again, capital gain, the big highly expected because of good amount of amendments. Okay. Capital asset means any property held by you other than stock in trade, non-urban agricultural land, etc. Transfer, sale, etc. Very crucial section. Now, what is important for you this year? Amendment ಆಗಿದ್ದು 22nd July 2024. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
110 TDS ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೈಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗೆ 110 ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಬೈಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗೆ 110 ಮತ್ತೆ 110 is buyback and TDS provisions. Then capital asset, capital gains ಗೆ before 23rd July and on or after 23rd July and onwards. So before that we had 3 categories. Less than 12 months loser, LUS. Next, less than 24 months, unlisted shares and LBB. Whereas less than equal to 36 months, all other cases. ಈಗ ಎರಡೇ category. Loser, Bhavana, same ಇದೆ. 12 months. All other cases comes under 24 months. Even the business trust ಗೆ declaration ಮಾಡಿದೆ. Extremely crucial. So less than 12 months hold ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್. ಇದು ಡೇಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಬೇಡ ಅದು. 23rd July and onwards, ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಮರಿಬೇಡಿ. And onwards. Then computation of capital gain, full value of share consideration, less expenses. This is called NSC. Indexation is available up to that date, whatever I said. After that, no indexation, except for individual and HF for LBB, if it is beneficial to them. Then any improvement before 1/4/2001 is completely ignored. Acquired before 1/4/2001, actual cost or fair market value, whichever is higher, should not exceed the stamp value if it is LBB. Then exemptions are available. Long-term RHP, invested in another RHP, maximum 10 crore. 54B, non-urban agriculture land, invest in any agriculture land, any amount. 54D, land, build, and industrial taking, compulsory acquisition, any capital. 54F, any LTCA other than RHP, but invest the NSC in RHP, maximum 10 crores. This is an important section. 54EC, long-term capital asset being land, building or both. These 4, if you invest in 4 specified bonds, Yaudella, RECL, PFCL, etc., maximum 50 lakh exemption ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Capital gains, again, the date is crucial. So, up to 22nd July, 112 taxation was 10%. Okay. Now it is 12.5%. Then short term before that is 15%. Now it is how much? 20%. Whereas again, relaxation of 112 ಮೊದಲು 1 lakh ಇತ್ತು. ಈಗ 1,25,000 ಇಡೀ ವರ್ಷ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು 1,25,000 ಇಡೀ ವರ್ಷ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಈಗ. There is amendment actually. Then other LTCG up to this date 20%. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ dates are careful. Later 12.5%. Specified mutual fund ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು amendment ಆಗಿದೆ. So specified mutual fund acquired on after 1/4/23. Market debentures, normal computation ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು it is going to be short term. Anything coming under 50, etc. is going to be short term. So as of now, so greater than equal to 65% the equity oriented fund ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Greater than 35% normal, less than 35% ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಡೆಟ್ ತರ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಡ್ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಫಂಡ್ 50 calculation. Other source mainly dividend income already ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ, gift income. So whenever I purchase also there can be Teju income ಬರೋ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. So cash gift above 50,000, LBB stamp value minus Z above 50,000, then BBZ pass. So FMB minus Z above 50,000 independently. Received from a relative not taxable, then relative deficiency import, then received on the occasion of marriage not taxable, will inheritance also not taxable. COVID-19 from the employer nothing is taxable, non-employer up to 10 lakh rupees exempted. Then 56 to 13 ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನಾಗ very crucial ಅಂತ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ above 5 lakh. ಇದೊಂದು ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಸೊ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಗೆ 10%, ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಏಬಲ್ಡ್ ಗೆ 15%. ಸೊ ದ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು 10%, ನಿಮಗೆ ETC ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. If it is above 10%, up to 10% ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Taxes upon maturity is fully taxable. Whereas ಯಾವುದು GST computation ಅದೊಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. When you're calculating 10% for ETC, GST is included. For example, 90,000 rupees is the premium plus GST, let's say 18,000. 1 lakh ವರೆಗೆ ETC ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. But when you're applying the 10% criteria, GST should be excluded. Clubbing, minors income will be clubbed in the hands of that parent who has got highest total income in the first year. If they are earning from SCEM, taxable agodilla. 68 to 69D, unexplained money, etc. Taxed at flat 60%, effectively leading to 78%. Set off and carry forward. Unabsorbed depreciation, unabsorbed scientific research and capital expenditure, then family planning expenditure by company. Carry forward for any number of years, adjusted against income. Within batch. Whereas
Yes, sir.
35AD, 14 specified businesses except LGF, land goodwill financial instrument ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ capex ಮಾತ್ರ, 35AD capex ಮಾತ್ರ, revenue expenditure allowed under other sections. Okay, 72 value. So it can be carried forward for any number of years. Adjust only against those 14, which square FB square. 2-star hotel, 3-star hotel, ಕೊಟ್ಟುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ 35AD. Then 100 bed hospital, 35AD. Edible oil ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Sugar warehouse ಬರುತ್ತೆ, agriculture produce ಬರುತ್ತೆ. You have to be careful with the 35AD. Then all other cases, losses can be carried for normally for 8 years. Immoral, speculation ಮತ್ತೆ loss from resource only 4 years. Current year, any income, any loss against any income, except business only against salary, not possible. Business against salary, not possible. House property loss under the old regime can be adjusted against any other head, maximum 2 lakh. New regime ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Then carry forward only that head against that head. Business loss ಅನ್ನ business headಗೆ adjust ಮಾಡೋದು. Speculation, business, profession ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇಮ್. If it is the income, loss ಅನ್ನ set up ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, profit ಅನ್ನ set up ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Small tumbler and big tumbler. STCL can be adjusted against STCG or LTCG, where LTCL only against LTCG. And loss return has to be filed within 131 due date. Otherwise, loss cannot be carried forward. Exceptions, house property loss, but unabsorbed allowance, even if you file later, that's okay. Then old regime ಅಲ್ಲಿ deductions ಇದೆ, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ go through ಮಾಡಿ. ETCCD new regime ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Only ETCCD to 12% ಅಲ್ಲ, 14%. Correction ಆಗಬೇಕದು 14%. Now 10% was become 14%, 1.5 lakh limit ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. Then ETC 1.5 lakh, ETD medical insurance premium, DD dependent disability flat 75,000 or 1,25,000, DDB 40,000 or 1 lakh, E for educational loan interest any amount for 8 years. Then ETEA housing loan if you have taken additional 1,50,000. Then electric vehicle another 1,50,000 loan taken ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1/4/2019 to 22. ಮನೆ ತಗೊಂಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ತನ್ನ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1 ವರ್ಷ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ 23 ವರೆಗೆ ತಗೋಬಹುದು ಲೋನ್. ETG ಡೊನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ, ಸೊ ಬಾಡಿ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಿವ್ ಎ ಡೊನೇಷನ್. It up to 2,000 you can pay cash. Anything above it has to be by other than cash will pay. Then ETQQB is for royalty. RRB is for royalty on patent. 2 ಕಡೆನೂ 3 lakh rupees ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Then ETU, if a person is specified is a disability, he himself is disabled, 75,000 rupees for him normal, 1,25,000 for a severe disability. Extremely important. SB interest ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕೂಡಲೇ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅದರ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 10,000 rupees ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Whereas if you are a 60 years plus senior citizen, ETTTB Buddha, you'll get 50,000 rupees for SB interest, FD interest, only for resident. Non-resident ಗೆ ETTTA ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, non-resident ಗೆ 60 years or 90 years 10,000 ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಿಗೋದು. Whereas resident above 60 years ಇದೆ, they get 50,000. 10AA, SCZ ಗೆ profits of the business into export turnover divided by total turnover. So first 5 years 100%, next 5 years 50%, last 5 years 50% of reserve, whichever is less. Then lottery, net winnings ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ 30% tax. 139 one due date, I've already told you, transfer pricing, etc. 3 is a loss return. If you file later, you will not get to carry forward. 134 is a late return. 135 is a revised return. They have to be filed within 31st. ಇದು ತಪ್ಪಿದೆ, ಸರಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಮ್ಮ.
Yes.
134 and 135, they have to be filed within 3 months before the end of the estimate year ಅಂತಿದೆ. That is nothing but 31st December of the estimate year. So time 1 year ಅಲ್ಲ, 31st December of the estimate year or completion of estimate, whichever is earlier. Updated return. Okay. So from the end of the estimate year, you get 2 more years to file the updated return. 140, who can sign is on important. And also 140 capital A is a self-assessment tax. 139 also above 1 crore rupees if you deposit in the current account. Last class notes, ಅದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ exam, note ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಲ್ಲ. Okay. Who should also file. If they're not coming under the normal ITR, last class above 50 lakh rupees in the SB account, above 25,000 in TDS TCS ಇದ್ರೆ, senior citizen ಅಂದ್ರೆ above 50,000, they all should file the return. ಒಂದಿದೆ, electricity expenditure above 1 lakh, travel expense above 2 lakh, they must file return compulsory. Then TDS provisions, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ go through ಮಾಡಿ, some amendment ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So amendment ಇರೋ section mention ಮಾಡಿದೆ, go through ಮಾಡಿ. 182 is salary, 184A is interest, normal 10%, 184C is important, contract 1%, individual HF, others get 2%, single payment above 30,000, others aggregate above 1 lakh rupees. Then is 184IB, 11024 ನಂತರ 2% ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ 5% ಇದ್ದು, most of the cases 11024 ಇಂದ 2% ಆಗಿದೆ. TCS, similar provisions, go through ಮಾಡಿ. Then advance tax, 4 installment ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು. June 15, September 15, December 15, March 15, 15, 45, 75, 100%. So if you're a 44 AD and 44 ADA case, ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು installment 15 March ಒಳಗೆ, right? Then last provision, interest. Belated return file ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 1% per month. 90% tax within financial year ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1% from April. Advance tax ಇದ್ದು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಫಾಲ್ ಇದ್ರೆ 1%. Then if there is an excess refund, ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ವಜಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1%. Then 4 fees. TDS return late ಆದರೆ 200 per day, MCQ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈಸಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಅದು ಅನಾಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. 234F, ಡಿಲೇ ಇನ್ ಫೈಲಿಂಗ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ additionally 5,000 rupees fees ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Our total income is less than equal to 5 lakh, 1,000 rupees ಮಾತ್ರ. Then 234G, submitting the ETG or the 35 related document. So you'll get a same like a TDS 200 rupees per day. PAN and Aadhaar ಜೊತೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there is also 1,000 rupees fees payable. Alternate minimum tax other than companies ಗೆ. So whenever they claimed it, chapter 6A income based in syllabus ಅಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, 10AA ಅಥವಾ 35AD, then you have to add back all this 35AD minus depreciation, then whatever the normal tax ಅಥವಾ that adjusted total income into 15%, IFSC units are 9%, whichever is higher is the tax. The excess paid can be carried forward for next 15 years. Yeah. Budget 24 are applicable to you. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ go through ಮಾಡಿ, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಮೇಲೆ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಬೈಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಪ್ರತಿ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, 36 CDD 14% ವರೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ನ್ಯೂ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಎವ್ರಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಕವರ್ಡ್. ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕವರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಓದೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಿ ಕವರ್ಡ್. TDS ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ. 206C ಇದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಇದು ಇದು ಬೇಡ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸೋದಿ ಸಾಕು. ಇದು ನಿಮ್ದು ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೊದಲೇ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ 206C 1G. Next, extremely important, coming to the pattern. So part 1 MCQ, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ವಿಷಯ. So 2 case studies in income tax and GST into 3 questions into 2 marks. 12 marks ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, 12 marks GST ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So 2 marks ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್, 1 mark MCQ. ನಾವು ಮಾಕ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅದೇ ಫಾರ್ಮಟ್ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟಿವ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ನಾನು ಅದೇ GST ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ನೋಡಬೇಡಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡಿ. ಯಾವ್ದು GST ನೋಡಬೇಡ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು, GST ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ನೋಡಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ. GST ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 3, 4 ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿದೆ, ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ತಪ್ಪಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೇಕನ್ GST ಆಂಗಲ್. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ 1 to 8 ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟಿವ್, 1 to 4 ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್, 5 to 8 ಇಸ್ GST. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟಿವ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಟೋಟಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್. ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ PGBP, ಸಮ್ IFOS, ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ವಿತ್ ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು, ಟೈಯ ಓಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ವಿದೌಟ್ ಈಗ ವೈ ಆಡೆಡ್, ವೈ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬರ್ರಿ ಮೀನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್, ಪನ್ನಕ್ಸ್ ಪಿ ಎಲ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗರ್ಲ್ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆದಿತ್ಯ, ವೈ ಇಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಅಲೌಡ್? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್ ಟು ಶಿಪ್ಸಿ ಜಾತ್ರೆ ಇದು ಅಲ್ವೇನೋ ಆದಿತ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಆಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ 37 ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ ಡಿಸ್ಅಲೌಡ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಅಲೌಡ್. ದೆನ್ ವಿತ್ ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಓಲ್ಡ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್, ನ್ಯೂ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಕಡೆ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದೆನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ದೆನ್ ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ TDS ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ದರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಅನಾಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್, ಓಕೆ? ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ, ಹೌಸ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಮ್ ಟ್ರೂ ಆರ್ ಫಾಲ್ಸ್ ತರ, ಟ್ರೂ ಆರ್ ಫಾಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಯಾವುದು, ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್, ಓಕೆ? ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್ ಅಥವಾ ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್, ಕ್ಲಬ್ಬಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್, ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆನ್ ಎಸ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಹೇಳಿದಲ್ಲ, ಅಬೌಟ್ 2 lakh rupees ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ, ಫಾರಿನ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್, ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೇಮ್ ವೇ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ GST ನಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇಸ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 15 marks ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 10 + 5 ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ 5 + 5 ಅಗೇನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್, ದೆನ್ ಸಮ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ಬಿಲ್ಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಅಂಡ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಗುಡ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಹವ್ ಡನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದನ್ನು ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಇದನ್ನು ದೇವರ ತರ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಆನ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ವಿತ್ PGB, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಹೋಗಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್, ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್, ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್, ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್, ಓಕೆ? ಅದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ದಟ್ ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಬೇರೆ ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಕೆಳಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ಬೋದು. ದೆನ್ ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಕೇಸಸ್ TDS. ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಟು ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಟು ಬಿ TDS ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಹೌ ದೇ ಆಸ್ಕ್. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ದೇವರು? ಯಾ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸೊ TDS if you are not comfortable, you should just ignore 2 and you go to the section 3. 3 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎನಿ ಹೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್, ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಹೌಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಸಮ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ನೋಡಿ, ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 3A 3B ದೇ ಮೇ ಇಂಟರ್ಚೇಂಜ್, ಬಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಇದೆ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ದೇವರು? ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಜೋಕ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿ. ಸೆಟ್, ನಾನು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋ ಇದನ್ನು ವಿದೌಟ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಬಿಲೀವ್? ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ 6 marks. ಮತ್ತೆ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಸೇ ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಸಮೇತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಹೋಪ್ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲಿಸನಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್. ನೌ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್, ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ. ದೆನ್ ಸಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಎಸ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ನೋ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಟು ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಹಾಲ್, ಈ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಸೇಮ್ ವೇ ಇನ್ GST, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ GST ಪೇಪರ್ ಇದೆ. ಕೇಳ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ನೀವು ಹೋಗುವಾಗಲೇ ಇದನ್ನ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಿ, ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಇನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಸಜೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 1 ಓನ್ಲಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದರ್ ಕಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ನೋಡಿದ. ದೆನ್ 2, 3, 4 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಮೋರ್ ಕಂಪಲ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದೆನ್ ಮಾಕ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಎನಿ ಮಾಕ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್. ದೇ ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಫಾಲೋ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದನ್ನ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್, ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಳಿದಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಕಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್, ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟಿವ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಮ್ ಅಮೆಂಡೆಡ್ TDS ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿದನ್ನ. ಟೈಮ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. 1:45 to 2 o'clock ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನೋಡಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ GST, and from the exam point of view, marks point of view, GST will give good marks. Start with GST descriptive. Illa sir, I prepared very well for income tax compared to GST, and income tax can give me more marks. Start with GST. One of the descriptive you start. Income tax adru madi, GST adru madi. Kelskota idira? So whichever is comfortable. Normally GST should be easier than income tax, but some exception case income tax was also easier than the GST. So you only 145 to decide about it. Once you decide, don't stop. Then 2 to 210 obviously scribbling something. Assuming you decided with income tax, first question is shuru ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲಿ. So second question, third question. ಇದು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. By 310 you should have done. 310 to 350 ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಯಾವುದು MCQ. ಎಲ್ಲಾ MCQ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೇಬೇಕು. And stupidity if you are leaving MCQ and coming out because there is no negative mark. Then if I started with income tax here, descriptive ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವುದರದ್ದು GST. 350 to 410, almost 20 minutes for each question. Okay, 20 minutes ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು. ಕೇಳ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದೀರಾ? ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಬೇಗ 5 to 10 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ತಗೋಬಹುದು ನೀವು, 5 to 10 minutes. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಫಾರ್ 15 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಎವ್ರಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಗೆ 20 minutes ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ದ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್. ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ MCQ ಇದೆ. ಮಾಕ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ 8 ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 10th 8 o'clock ಅಲ್ಲ 8:15 ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದು ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಯೂಶುವಲ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ಮೀ, ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಡೆಫರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ದು. ಬಟ್ ಆದರೂ ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ದು FM ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್, ಸಾರಿ ಯಾವುದು ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಆದ ದಿನ, ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ 12th ಇರಬೇಕು. ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್. ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ. ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹೋಲ್ ಡೇ ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ 13th ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ FM ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದೆನ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ರೀಡ್ FM. FM ಈಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಯಾವಾಗ 16th 17th ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ?
17th.
ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ ಯುವರ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಡ, ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ 8:15 ಬನ್ನಿ. ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಆದ ದಿನ 12th ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಬಂದು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು? ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್. ಆಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್. ಕೇಳ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಇದು ನಾವು R2R ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. R2R ಮಾಡಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಫುಲ್ ಡೇ ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಓದೋದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡ ಹಾಲ್ಗೆ. 13th ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಐ ಸೆಟ್ 13th ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? FM R2R. 13th ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ 14th 15th 16th ವರೆಗೆ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ FM. 17th ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಮತ್ತೆ 17th ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ದೆನ್ 17th ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ 17th ದಿನ ಅಗೇನ್ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೋಡಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ವಿತ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಸೆಡ್? ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಒಂದು 1 days ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನೋಡಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ ನಾನು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟಿಲ್ FM ಓದೋದಲ್ಲ. FM 1 day ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ವ್ಯಾರಸ್ ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 1 day ಫುಲ್ ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಓದಿ. ದೆನ್ 14th 15th 16th ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ವಾಟ್? FM. That's it. ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಜೋಶಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೀರಿ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ತಗೋಬೇಡಿ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಈಸಿ ಟಫ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಹೌ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಪೇಪರ್, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕತ್ತ? ಯುವರ್ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಫಾದರ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇನ್ವಿಜಿಲೇಟರ್, ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಗೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ತಾನೆ. ನೌ ಯು ಫೋಕಸ್. ಸೊ ಗೋ ಬೈ ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಈಸಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಡ, ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಪ್ರಾಣಾಯಾಮ ಮಾಡಿ, ಪ್ರಾಣಾಯಾಮ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಫುಲ್ ಜೋಶಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋ ಅಂಡ್ ರೈಟ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್. Don't go to the exam or think it is easy paper. It may not be very tough. It will not be very easy also. That is the expectation for income tax GST paper. But to the point answer. ಕೆಲವರು ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಇದ್ರು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they are not writing answer to the point. Answer to the point ಬರೀ. ಸೊ CST ಮಾಕ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾಕ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆಯೋ ಹಂಗೆ ಟು ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ದ ಪೇಪರ್. 90% ಅಂತ ಆಗಲೇಬೇಕು. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 1 descriptive question ಹಾಫ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ದ ಪೇಪರ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಈಸಿ ಸಮ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವುದು ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಅಥವಾ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಒಂದು 5 mark ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ 2 minutes ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಸಾಕುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಎಸ್, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಜೋಕ್ಸ್? ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೂ ಇದು ಜೋಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೇ ಮಜಾ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇದು ನೀವು ತೋರಿಸಿರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿ ನಮ್ಮ CA ಫೈನಲ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಾ? ಅವರೇ ಒಂದು ಜೋಕ್. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿ? ಈಗ ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ಸರಿ ಉಗಿತೀನಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ದೆಮ್, ದೇರ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಇದು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಜೋಕ್ ವಿಚ್ ಐ just told, expecting that nobody should understand. So it is a confirmed method that everybody is equally intelligent. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಯಾರು nobody should understand ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು, ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತೇನ್ರ? ಅದು ಪವರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಡೆಲ್ಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿ. ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಮಾಗ್ ವಿಷಯ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ. Yes. Reading, keep working, enjoy. God bless you all. Just go and enjoy the exam. All the best. Pass with high marks. Just enjoy the exam. Your job is just enjoy. No pressure, no tension. Yes, Bhavana, stay back. Bye, Sanjay. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.